Now, among the protesters' list of demands is a call for constitutional reform in Haiti. A constitutional amendment committee in the Haitian parliament is exploring cutting the number of parliamentarians in half, getting rid of political immunity for lawmakers accused of wrongdoing, and even scrapping the position of prime minister altogether. Lawmaker Jerry Tardieu, a member of Haiti's parliament, chairs that committee. He joins me here today in the studio. Jerry Tardieu, Haiti finds itself yet again in the midst of another upheaval. Fuel shortages, protests that have been going on for weeks, allegations of graft reaching the highest levels of government. Haiti is ranked as one of the 20 most corrupt countries in the world, according to Transparency International. How do you restore public trust in the country's government and institutions?
It's going to be a long process, and it's going to be a tough process. Haiti is currently going through its worst crisis in its contemporary history. We're talking about an embattled president who is now facing the furor of the population. We're talking about a population that has had enough with corruption, misery, poverty. There's a cry for change in Haiti, and this is what's going on right now.
As you mentioned, the people of Haiti, the vast majority, including first and foremost the youth, want a change. They are sick and tired of the old ways of doing business, but they are calling on President Moise to step down because of all these allegations of embezzlement that have touched him and implicated him. Do you agree with these calls? Do you think he should resign?
Absolutely. Jovenel Moise, Haiti's president, is the cause of all this mess. Jovenel Moise has managed to have against him all sectors of Haiti. We are talking about private sector, unions, organization of human rights, youth organization, civil society, the church. Every sector of Haitian society has now publicly asked him to step down and resign.
But let's face it, the anger isn't just directed at him.
That's the point.
And the presidency or the prime minister's office. It's directed at the opposition as well, who are facing serious allegations of corruption. Is Moise stepping down the solution to this crisis?
It's directed towards anyone with a position of authority. More than Jovenel Moise stepping down or resigning, there's a cry in Haiti for something new, something different. Another country, another constitution, another political regime, another way of doing things. So you're right. And the youth is on the street carrying that revolt and leading it.
You say that, but some believe that if you hold new elections today or tomorrow, in a few months or even in a couple of years, the same old people will find a way to get back to power. Those with, quote, the money, the guns, and the power. This is what people on the streets of Port-au-Prince have been telling us. So clearly the anger is far deeper than that. It isn't just a political crisis, is it? Is there a constitutional crisis as well?
The crisis is multidimensional. It is political, economic, social, institutional, electoral, and moral. You just said it. Corruption is such a normal thing in Haiti that you have lawmakers that publicly accept that they have received bribe to ratify a prime minister. Once you reach that level of corruption, you have reached rock bottom. Everything is to be done. There is a transition to come. It cannot be with Jovenel Moise. There needs to be the biggest roundtable in Haiti to host all the actors in civil society and political parties in order for us to have a roadmap towards the future. That roadmap would include an emergency economic and social recovery plan, the Petro-Caribbean trial that all the youth is asking for, a constitutional reform, and of course, there are certain laws that have to be passed.
All this sounds wonderful, but when it comes to implementing these reforms and changes, how serious are you, members of the opposition? How realistic is this?
We have no other option than to be very serious because Haiti is slowly dying. We're talking about a country today that is totally locked. No food coming from the provinces to the capital, no food for the prisoners in jail, inflation at 20% high. We're talking about investment being frozen, private and public. We're talking about the central bank financing a huge deficit, which means downfall of the national currency. All the signals are red. There is no time for politicking. There is no time to play political games. Now is the time to set up and settle the problems of Haiti once and for all.
But settle them how? Many say the Constitution actually produced this situation, that what happened is too many lawmakers, those in the opposition, those that are pro-government, have been using the Constitution, exploiting it, manipulating it, as you say, as a tool for blackmail and for taking down those who don't play by the corrupt rules. You mentioned yourself that some lawmakers are paid to ratify prime ministers. A member of the Senate came out quite extraordinarily and actually admitted that that was the case. I ask you then, have you also been involved in any kind of bribe taking in exchange for voting for any kind of prime minister?
I have not. Actually, no one even approached me, because once you know someone's character, credibility, it's very difficult for you to work on that person and ask him some sort of a bribery or some sort of service. I've never been exposed to that.
But have you seen it? Has it taken place around you?
Of course. Everybody knows that. If I was to tell you that it doesn't happen, then I would not be talking the truth to you. As a matter of fact, as the chairman of a special commission working on the constitutional reforms, one of our main proposals was first to reduce the number of parliamentaries, and secondly, to lift the difficulty for them to keep their immunity if they are accused of wrongdoings. Because too often in the Haitian parliament, you have people who are corrupted and who are hiding because they're using their privileged congressman and senatorial status to avoid being punished by the law.
But you're suggesting some drastic cuts.
Yes, that's why I was blocked.
You're suggesting reducing the number of congressmen or deputies from 119 to 52 and senators from 30 to 10. You must be taking on very powerful interests and being potentially quite a lonely figure in Parliament, are you?
I spent the last days in Parliament wearing a bulletproof jacket. I know that I'm not the favorite member of Parliament among my peers, but I took my responsibility along with all the other 8 members of the Commission. If we don't do it internally, it's going to happen in the streets. We need more money for schools, for public roads, for hospitals, to pay policemen, nurses. Where are we going to find it? We need to change the constitution. We need to get rid of the Prime Minister's office to have more money to do development and social projects.
How realistic is it to get rid of the Prime Minister's office? And is that part of the solution? Are you suggesting this because you believe that the current Prime Minister, Jean-Michel Lapin, is not a legitimate prime minister because he hasn't been ratified by the Senate?
Well, he's not a legitimate prime minister. He has not been ratified and he's only ad interim. So we have a constitutional mess in Haiti. Even if Jovenel Moise was to resign, Constitution says that the prime minister would take over for 90 or 120 days to organize elections, but he's not legal where he is. So whether you want it or not, we're going to have to go through a political agreement and find a solution.
And how do you do this? I mean, can Haiti solve the problem by itself? Because the international community seems to be turning its back on Haiti right now. The United Nations has decided to downsize its mission quite drastically.
I don't know if they're turning their back on Haiti. They're being very passive. If I was the Secretary General of the UN, I'll be very careful and cautious before leaving Haiti right now. Why? Because after 10 years and $10 billion spent, they're going to be leaving Haiti in a turmoil just like they found it. And same thing with the United States. It's a very powerful actor. We are here in the center of Washington, D.C. And the United States...
Is the U.S. attentive to Haiti? I mean, the U.S. president has his own domestic problems to deal with.
He does. Foreign policy towards Haiti by the United States is driven by 4 factors. First of all, immigration. When something goes wrong in Haiti, you might end up with thousands of boat people on the coast of Florida. Local issues. We're talking about the diaspora. Haiti's diaspora in the United States is about 4 million Haitian Americans. They are pushing the agenda and they are being very aggressive on their congressmen and women and their senators. Ask Nancy Pelosi, who was in Florida last week. She had quite a hard time. The 2 other ones are obviously drugs and terrorism. If Haiti fails, if the institutions are weak, then it's a big problem for the United States of America, because it's easier for terrorism money to funnel money through banking system. And of course, it's easier from Latin America to send drugs to the United States through Haiti. So for the United States of America, it is important that they take this crisis very, very seriously.
Do you also believe that the Haitian government is to blame for caving in to the pressure that the US applied on Haiti a few months ago to move away from importing Venezuelan subsidized oil?
I don't think there was pressure from the United States. It just happens that the Venezuelan subsidy oil program died by itself with Hugo Chavez not there, and there are political and economic problems right now.
And as a lawmaker, how concerned are you about these very serious allegations made against 2 former prime ministers, the president himself before he took office, of being involved in what is called the Petro-Caribe oil scandal? Do you think that these should be investigated very seriously?
Absolutely. There needs to be a serious trial, not a political witch hunt. But there is no transition in Haiti possible without a fair trial, just to make sure that those who stole or misused the money go to jail.
Should the president face trial?
Of course. is the first to have to face trial because he's the first of all of us. So he needs to lead by example. If he doesn't, he needs to pay a price for it.
All right, Jerry Tardieu, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for being with us.
Thank you, Mrs. Fakhri.